Country singer Blake Shelton made fun of Jimmy Fallon's trademark chuckle during an episode of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon from March 2025. During the promotion of his album for recreational use only, Shelton made a passing reference to his 2024 hit Pour Me a Drink, which he co-wrote with Post Malone, and lauded Malone's energy. "Now that I think about it, you two are very similar," Shelton told Fallon. Her words echoed across the room. Shelton snapped back at Fallon, who had said, "We are," while they were both laughing. The audience gasped and laughed in response to the comment. After slapping the desk and laughing harder, Fallon pulled a straight face, seemed taken aback. The tape has gone viral and has brought Fallon's penchant to overact his reactions, especially his laughter, back into the spotlight. This is the first time Fallon has ever addressed an ongoing complaint about his presenting style, namely that his laughing comes across as too fake and staged, directly on air. Jimmy Fallon's over-the-top laughter has been the target of criticism before. The host has been under fire for years for allegedly laughing at his guests' jokes and overreacting to their remarks in an effort to win them over. In earlier interviews, he answered the criticism openly. In the world of late-night talk shows, few moments are as electric and unpredictable as when the hosts and their guests share an unfiltered and scripted interaction. On The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, which is famous for its high-energy games, celebrity guests, and humorous sketches, the chemistry between Jimmy Fallon and his guests is always one of the biggest draws for audiences. However, on a recent episode, Blake Shelton, the country music superstar and frequent The Voice coach, hilariously called out Jimmy Fallon for something that many viewers had likely suspected but never openly acknowledged: his fake laughs. Blake Shelton, known for his witty remarks, laid-back attitude, and playful sense of humor, caught Fallon in the act during an interview, and the ensuing moment quickly became one of the most memorable in recent Tonight Show history. What followed was a series of hilarious exchanges that left both the studio audience and viewers at home in stitches. Let's dive into what exactly happened and how Blake Shelton's playful antics highlighted a long-running trope on The Tonight Show. The setting: Blake Shelton on The Tonight Show. Blake Shelton is no stranger to The Tonight Show. As one of country music's biggest stars and a longtime coach on The Voice, Blake has made numerous appearances on the show over the years, often bringing his signature humor and charm with him. On this particular night, Blake was promoting his new album and sharing some behind-the-scenes stories from his life and career. However, what was supposed to be another routine promotional appearance quickly turned into a comedy goldmine thanks to Blake's unexpected observation. As the interview progressed, Jimmy Fallon, as he often does, leaned into his natural comedic tendencies and laughed at every opportunity. Fallon is known for his infectious laugh and often exaggerated responses to jokes, which is part of his on-screen persona. However, as Blake Shelton looked on, he couldn't help but point out something that had been on his mind for a while: Fallon's fake laughs. The moment Blake Shelton calls out Jimmy Fallon, it all started when Fallon made a joke about one of Blake Shelton's previous appearances on The Voice and his tendency to react dramatically. Fallon delivered the punchline, expecting his usual hearty laugh, but Blake Shelton wasn't about to let it slide. "Jimmy, I've got to ask you something," Blake said, his tone playful but knowing. "You do this thing where you laugh really loud at your own jokes. And I gotta say, I don't think it's a real laugh. It's like a ha-ha laugh that you throw out just to fill the silence." Fallon, momentarily caught off guard by the comment, looked around at the audience and raised his hands in mock defense. "What do you mean, Blake? It's all genuine," he said, trying to maintain his usual on-air persona. But Blake wasn't backing down. "Come on, man. I know a fake laugh when I hear one," he quipped. "You're like, haha, that's hilarious, but I can tell it's rehearsed." The audience erupted in laughter, clearly enjoying the banter between the two. Blake, ever the playful troublemaker, leaned in further, clearly relishing in his role as the instigator of chaos. He then launched into a humorous imitation of Fallon's laugh, exaggerating the tone and inflection in a way that had the audience roaring. Jimmy Fallon, a master of comedic timing himself, immediately jumped on the opportunity to play along. All right, you caught me, Blake. I admit it. Sometimes I just throw out a laugh because I don't know what else to do." Fallon's willingness to play along with Blake's antics only made the moment even funnier. The entire exchange became a lighthearted roast of Fallon's comedic style, but it also revealed something much deeper about their friendship. The two were incredibly comfortable with each other, and they both enjoyed poking fun at the often performed nature of late-night comedy. The dynamics of Jimmy Fallon's laughing persona. For anyone who watches The Tonight Show, Fallon's over-the-top laugh is an essential part of his comedic identity. His laugh, often exaggerated and sometimes bordering on the theatrical, is something that fans and critics alike have noticed. Whether it's his infectious cackle after a joke or his boisterous response to a funny comment from a guest, Fallon's laugh has become almost as iconic as his hosting style. But Blake Shelton's call-out brings up an interesting point. Is Fallon's laugh genuine, or is it a product of his high-energy, joke-filled environment? While it's clear that Fallon genuinely enjoys his guests and their antics, it's also undeniable that his laughter is sometimes more than just a response to humor. It's part of his on-screen performance. The fake laugh, while lighthearted and intended to enhance the mood, is a well-known trait of late-night hosts, who often go overboard to ensure the atmosphere is fun and welcoming for viewers. Jimmy Fallon's laugh may have become a comedic signature, but Blake Shelton's playful jab reminded the audience that, as polished as Fallon's hosting style may seem, there's still a human side to his antics. He, too, can laugh at himself, and that's what made this moment so charming. Why Blake Shelton's call-out was so relatable. Blake Shelton's comments about Fallon's fake laugh weren't just about calling him out in a lighthearted way. They resonated with viewers on a personal level. Most people, at one time or another, have found themselves caught in an awkward social situation where they laugh out of politeness, even if they don't find the joke particularly funny. In this case, Blake's acknowledgement of the fake laugh was a fun and relatable commentary on human behavior. It also served as a reminder of the pressure that talk show hosts are under to constantly perform for their audiences. While it's easy for viewers to get lost in the charisma of the hosts, behind the scenes, they are often working hard to maintain a lively, upbeat atmosphere. Blake Shelton's comment was a moment of levity that broke down the fourth wall and gave viewers a peek into the reality of the late-night world, a world where even the laughs can be scripted. The aftermath. Fallon's reactions and audience's delight. After the call-out, Fallon responded with his typical sense of humor and self-deprecation. "Well, I guess I've been caught," he said, still chuckling. "Blake, you've made me self-conscious now. I'm gonna have to start thinking about every laugh I give from here on out." The two continued to banter back and forth, with Blake teasing Fallon about his laugh throughout the remainder of the interview. The playful exchange ended up becoming one of the most memorable segments of the night, proving once again that the best moments on The Tonight Show often come from unscripted, off-the-cuff interactions between Fallon and his guests. The audience, of course, loved every minute of it. As the laughter died down and the interview progressed, viewers could sense the genuine camaraderie between the two, and it only made the segment feel more authentic. The impact of the moment on The Tonight Show. Blake Shelton's call-out of Jimmy Fallon's fake laugh wasn't just a funny moment, it was a reflection of the evolving nature of talk shows in the modern era. As more and more audiences crave authenticity and behind-the-scenes moments, Fallon's willingness to embrace his imperfections and laugh at himself made the moment feel more relatable. In many ways, it showcased the value of having a guest like Blake Shelton, who wasn't afraid to challenge Fallon's playful persona. Talk shows thrive on moments of spontaneity, and Blake's comment added a fresh, unscripted dynamic to an otherwise typical interview. Conclusion: a perfect blend of humor and friendship. Blake Shelton's call-out of Jimmy Fallon's fake laugh on The Tonight Show was one of those rare moments in late-night television where the lines between performance and reality blur. It was a reminder that even the most polished hosts and celebrities have their vulnerabilities, and sometimes, the best moments happen when they let down their guard. For fans of The Tonight Show, this hilarious exchange between Blake and Jimmy was a delightful and refreshing change of pace. It was a perfect blend of humor, friendship, and authenticity, showcasing the incredible chemistry between Fallon and his guest. And for anyone watching, it was a reminder that laughter, both real and fake, is one of the simplest ways to connect with others, and that sometimes, it's okay to laugh at yourself.